I want you guys to compare us to that clinic that you didn't want to go to in the United States because you did not want to spend that type of money. That's the clinic I want you to compare us to. And I bet you 9 out of 10 times we're going to beat them. Plain and simple.
I'm a firm believer, and this is also provided with, it's with Dental Facts, it is 50% us and 50% you. Good oral hygiene will make your smile last that much longer.
And then those are the patients that then go back to the United States and say, well, in Mexico, they did drunk on my mouth. Well, you were looking for it. You were looking for it. You were looking for an all-in-4 top and bottom for $5,000. What did you expect?
But I would say right now, the concern with the political environment on the U.S. side, is it safe to come to Mexico? Is there animosity? Which I can tell you folks, there's not. I love it, man. I am very thankful for this opportunity. I love to help our patients, and I love to educate, and I know we're doing the right thing.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine.
Welcome back to Supreme Dental Podcast Studio. You can be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, this podcast was meant for you, our patients. My wife and I are the owners of Supreme Dental Clinic. Listen, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're ready for you to listen, or you could just watch us on your screen. Today we have a special guest all the way from Indiana, royalty, Mr. Ernesto Carranza. How you doing?
Frank, good to see you. Glad to be back.
Good to see you. Ernesto. As we know, welcome to 2025. I think the world is in a different place than it was in 2024. Let's just say we started the year, hit the ground running. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that with you because, we hear so many different things. And I want to ask you, what are the main things that you're listening to? Because you, as well as Jessica, Luis, and also Luceli are in our front lines. You guys are our Infinity Stones, our agents at Supreme Dental. And what are you guys hearing from patients? What is the information that you're gathering? What are our patients scared of? What questions do they have? What are their concerns?
Well, there's a lot, right? There's a lot. I think one thing that never changes is us being the underdog. I
love it.
So do I. I love it. We always are questioned as to, why should we be the clinic of their choice to come to, which, we have plenty of reasons as to why that should be. But, some things don't change like that. Is it safe to come to Mexico? Am I getting quality care? What kind of technology are we using? What are the credentials of your dentist? What does their skill set consist of? Which are all things you should be concerned about. Absolutely. I think it's safe to say that we always encourage patients to do their research. I think anyone that gets a hold of me, that's one of the things that I end with on my email is like, hey, we know you're going to shop around, which is good. You should. These are some things you should look out for. So, but I would say right now, the concern with the political environment on the U.S. side, is it safe to come to Mexico? Is there animosity? Which I can tell you folks, there's not. I've been here for a few days now. There's plenty of tourists. No one feels scared. I've gone to meet a couple of my patients. Shout out to Mike and, Booth Cates, who, flew down. Mike flew down from New York. Booth and his wife drove down from Florida, and they've had no issues. And that's just the common theme, right?
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, so far, last time I checked, guys, we are still tariff-free from dental work. So you're not getting an extra tariff to get your smile done. So that's a good thing. It's really concerning sometimes, and we spoke about this. I mean, we speak all the time about this, is our patients, obviously, just like us, we want to feel safe wherever we go. We were in New York not too long ago in December. We're in New York. What do we say? Well, we're in different areas of New York. Not everywhere is going to be safe. We know that. We understand that. We're realistic. We happen to have our kids with us. Some of your kids were with us, or your daughter. And what do we say? We see something weird, man. You take this place, I take this place. Like, it was always a concern in our minds, right? And I think it's a common sense for patients to feel that way, no matter where they go. But a main concern for the patients is Mexico safe? Is algodones safe? If you're looking to do things that are illegal, you're gonna find them anywhere in the world, plain and simple. But what concerns me the most is that they ask about safety in algodones. How safe is for me to stay down there? We're extremely close to the border, as you know. But the question that I told you that they miss is just as important as them not being mugged outside as then them being butchered inside of the clinic. So their oral safety, it's I normally don't hear that question as much. I hear, well, is algodón safe? Is Mexico safe? And then after that, I hear a lot about pricing. Sometimes we get patients that do their research, that want the best, that know about brands, and they've heard about different terms. But I feel that the patient that shops around to come down to Mexico, obviously the number one reason is pricing. So what better to find a place that has pricing better than back home, but also has most likely 9 out of 10 better technology, better training to keep your oral health safety. So what do you think that are some of the things that, obviously you were born and raised in the United States, coming down to Mexico or to get any type of surgery? What are some of the questions that you believe that our patients should be asking? Because you don't want to get pulled by the guy we were just talking about the guy that's in the streets that was deported from the United States and that speaks perfect English, but is trying to pull you and just, yes, whatever you want. Yes, come in, just come in. Like, what do you feel that patients should be asking? So if for any reason they don't pick us, they actually do the right choice and pick whatever else is out there that's not going to harm them.
That's a great question. So there's a lot of layers to that, right? And I work really hard, like the rest of my colleagues, to make sure that when they show up to our clinic, they are as educated as possible. Sometimes you might even say too educated, but I have yet to have a patient tell me, Ernesto, you sent me too much information. Things patients should look out for, it's not even I think, is ask, how long have you been around? What are your accreditations? And then look into those accreditations. What do they mean? You can't just buy them. You have to earn them. As a matter of fact, one of them for Straumann, we had to send in case studies as to, hey, these are our success rates, what we do, and so on and so forth. And Straumann deemed us, worthy of receiving that recognition. Where have they trained? Let me see your before and afters. Do you work for that same clinic, just only that clinic, or do you float around? What skill sets do you have? 3 of our dentists can do zygomatic implants. We have a few that can do pterygoid implants, which is a small percentage of dentists can actually do. You go to the U.S., you have to go to implant centers and things like that. What does that mean to you? Why does it matter to you that our dentists can do pterygoids or zygomatics? Well, what that means is our dentists have the skill set to access better bone, your natural bone, because as we know, blood doesn't flow through bone graft. So even if we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 boxes of bone graft in there, guess what? If the environment isn't healthy, it's not going to hold. So guess what? Let's attach that pterygoid plate. Let's go with that zygomatic implant.
No, and after the wear and tear, it might work for them for a year, 2 years, up to 3 years, but then after the chewing part, always hitting, there's no blood flow through that bone. So eventually it's going to come out.
Right.
And you said that that's a low percentage of doctors that do zygomatics. It's less than 1% across the world. So what does that mean? Just like you said, is that when our patients come in, they actually have the best percentage of them being able to get something permanent again.
Exactly.
They in trainings, What does it mean? Obviously, we were in 2020. Everybody was shopping online. I think that's when it took off. DoorDash. Now you can do grocery shopping. First it started, you drive up to get the groceries, and now they take it to your house. And little by little, I think a lot of people start distancing themselves from going there physically. How important is it physically for a doctor to be at a training? Like, do you want to, would you go to a heart surgeon that says, oh, I've been trained in Italy, I've been trained in Singapore, and I've been playing in China online? Online? What does that mean? Oh, well, I was there and they were doing surgery and I know how to do it online. But did you actually do it? Well, I did it online. There's things that you can learn online, and I'm all about it, theory, but not hands-on. And that's why our doctors go to different places in the world to be able to get that hands-on experience on the best that there is.
Absolutely. And, when you do your research and you find out, what, are there amazing dentists in the U.S.? Absolutely.
Everywhere.
But they're everywhere, right? Our dentists are trained by the top implant specialists, dentists, oral surgeons from across the world that live in the U.S., that have practices in the U.S. Dr. Dulce just got back from Prague in December to be trained by the top veneer dentists from around the world. So, and we don't do it just to check off a box. We do it because we know there's value in that. We know that there's value in our doctors, tweaking their craft, making their craft better, their skill sets becoming better. So, when you compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges, and, we're not going to be the cheapest option, not by any means, but this is why. And this is why we don't, really budge on our price, because we know our worth, we know our value, we know our skill sets. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, And I try really hard, we all try really hard to make sure that we showcase that value to our patients, right? And not just with their techniques, but the technology that we have. We have the CareStream 9600, the PicCam Pro system, our own lab with the Amen Gerbach milling machines. I mean, the best of the best. Again, we don't just have it to say it's best. We know, because it's when we make your prosthesis, when we make your smile, it's going to be the best that it can be. Our zirconium being from Amen Gerbach, right? It might all sound like dental nerdy talk, but when you do your research, you're like, oh my goodness, this clinic in Mexico offers all this. So,
and by all means, guys, I will never ever say that dentists in the United States are not good, because that'd be lying, and I'll just be basing myself off an opinion. There's good dentists everywhere in the world, and there's also not so good dentists everywhere in the world. But obviously, that great dentist that has his own lab, that great dentist that has, that great training from around the world, that owns their own CAT scan machine and all that good stuff to be able to attend to you to the fullest, it's going to be very expensive. So when you're shopping around to Mexico, what better than to find a clinic that offers you all that at a fraction of a price? So we don't want to be compared to any other clinic here in Mexico. Not just Algodones. I don't want to be compared to any clinic in Mexico. I really don't care for that. I want you guys to compare us to that clinic that you didn't want to go to in the United States because you did not want to spend that type of money. That's the clinic I want you to compare us to. And I bet you 9 out of 10 times we're going to beat them. Plain and simple.
Yeah, and I believe I brought this up last time I was here. Look, when you come to Los Algodones, you're going to hear everything from the pickers, the metagentes. Good deal, good price, come on, man, discount, I'll give you a good discount, all these things.
Well, you secret shop before.
Yo,
what have you
I
heard?
secret shop.
Tell me, because you're like a CIA supreme. Tell me one of the conversations that you had, without naming clinics, of course, that I remember you the one in particular that you said you called, and how were they trying to reel you in?
So I do secret shop competition, like and just an FYI, the competition will never see me coming. I'm everywhere. I'm in the shadows, and I love it because
it's a sniper.
I want to see how good they are. I really do. I hear a lot of crazy conversations. Like one guy was like, "Hey man, I give you buy 2, maybe you get 3 more. I give you I give you this, I give you that. Good discount, man." And I'm like, you don't even know what I need. And you're just assuming if I get more, you'll give me a better discount.
There you go. Like buying potatoes.
Yeah. And you know what? We can appreciate saving money.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, we all do. We all want to save money. But at what expense? At what expense? So I want to believe that our patients see value in our marketing and the things we invest in the conversations with us versus being picked away by some ex-felon that was kicked out of the U.S. for whatever reason and is just telling you everything you want to hear. Let me say this. In the world of digital age, if we were known for being a bait and switch clinic, you'd see that all over the social media, number one. Number two, transparency. If I was known as a used car salesman or whatever the case was, you'd see it on Facebook. Trust me. But that's not who we are. We're very transparent. And I don't tell people what they want to hear. Our doctors don't tell people what they want to hear. As a matter of fact, I've had 3 patients towards the end of 2024 that came in with quotes from the U.S. One of them came from Tennessee for over $10,000 worth of work. And I'm like, kids, you know what they needed? A cleaning. I think one of them needed a filling and one of them needed a crown. They didn't need anything. We didn't take advantage of them. We didn't say, oh, yep, you're going to need this. That's not who we are. And that's just one of many, right? Are there different things you can do with your smile if you're trying to level up? Absolutely, right? But that's who we are. We're transparent. This is what you're going to need. This is what you're going to get, and this is why. A common concern is like, oh, I have questions. Absolutely. When you come down, ask any questions you need to. We encourage it.
Ask them.
Ask them. The doctors aren't going to be upset or anything like that, Now, I will say there's a difference. There was one patient who came in, and he was, we'll say, so rare and unique that another dentist in town who's been around for a while told him, I can't see you again. Because this patient was so adamant about the implant procedure being a certain way. And he came back and spoke to Dr. Elias, and Dr. Elias just straight up asked him, have you put an implant in? And we get a lot of that because some people might be an engineer by trade. Google doctors, all the things. It's like, you know what, man? Would you ask a dentist in the U.S. this? Would you question their abilities? Question concerns? Yes, ask your concerns, right? But trust the process, trust the dentist.
One thing that I've never really understood, okay, and I've never really said it, but so coming from the United States, and obviously either you were not able to afford the dental work there, or you just did not want to pay 40, 50, 60, 70 or higher for dental work, so you look for a different option. A lot of times because you can't pay, a lot of times because you don't want to pay, right? But why, already finding a clinic in Mexico, why are you trying to find the cheapest clinic? So the savings already there. Going from the United States to Mexico, the savings is there. Wouldn't it be smart to actually find a clinic that you don't have to go back and forth because stuff keep on breaking down or that could cause a major problem? Wouldn't it be smart to find a clinic that has all these accreditations and trainings and you're still saving at least 50 to 70%, but you're trying to find now the cheapest? And I don't know if I like the word cheap and medical together, because that's what you're going to get. Cheap medical procedures. And then those are the patients that then go back to the United States and say, well, in Mexico, they did junk on my mouth. Well, you were looking for it. You were looking for an all-in-4 top and bottom for $5,000. What did you expect? It's like going to the swap meet. I don't know if you guys ever been to the swap meet, but if you find a Gucci shirt for $25, let me tell you a secret. It's not going to be a real Gucci shirt. Plain and simple. So when you go back to your buddy who does happen to buy designer clothes and he tells you, oh, that's fake, don't seem surprised. I mean, you knew what you were doing. I mean, it doesn't make sense as me as a consumer also of different products for me to fly and me to pick the cheapest clinic in China for me to get whatever heart surgery I needed to get because I couldn't afford it in the United States, or I didn't want to, I'm going to do my research. I want to go to a clinic, the top clinic in China. And I keep on saying China, but it could be anywhere. Brazil, Colombia, top clinic.
You know, I appreciate an economical budget option, something that's friendly, right? Which is why we offer 2 implants at our clinic. We have Neo and we have Straumann, both 2 different price points. And we offer each option every time. Every time someone reaches out to me for an implant, hey, we have 2 options. This is what you get with this one, and this is what you get with this one, and these are the benefits from it. It's up to you. You know, and we never dilute any option that we give. You know, whether a patient can only afford, 2 Neo implants, guess what? Our dentists, our implant specialists are going to do the best damn job they can.
And we're not going to treat you any different.
Exactly.
If you get a Straumann 12 implants or if you get Neo 3 implants, it's going to be the same respect. You know, it's not like, oh, you're getting Neo. Psh, oh, sit down over there. Oh, this is the Straumann lounge, which that'd be cool to have a Straumann lounge.
That would be.
But we don't have that. You know, everybody's in reception. Everybody now, for example, in our reception, you'll have Gabby, the concierge from the concierge team, who's going to make sure that you have your food, who's going to make sure that you understand the process that you're getting done, who's going to keep your loved ones informed about what's going on, which is very important. And that's also going to be able to, I mean, if you're going to be down here for 4 or 5 days, guys, we have technology at Eternal Beauty. We have the laser therapy, the lead therapy, the lead therapy, that's a light that George will put here, that if you use it before and after surgery, brings down inflammation to up to a 35%. That's huge. We got IV, the IV therapy that can keep you hydrated. I mean, you're already flowing, you're dehydrated when you come down. Why not feel great when you're walking out of here, feel better than when you walked in, and look better? I mean, we have so many different things going for our patients because we don't focus just on, oh, we hooked you in. Ernesto told you that he was going to get you a new car with your smile. Then you come in here, oh, well, here's your car. You hand him over a Hot Wheel. And, that's the bait and switch. And then we do your work and then you go home and we don't care about you. No, obviously word of mouth is our biggest marketing. Your smile is our billboard. We've said it many times. But we care about you before you came in, while you're here, we'll take care of you. And after you're gone, we'll take care of you. Because that's just what we do. And because we do that, a lot of our patients sometimes try to take a little bit advantage of that. And feel that because we offer great service, that we somehow, some way, they are entitled to something different. Like, I don't know, it could be like fast or something, or hey, do this, hey, do that.
You're right, and I'm glad you bring that up because we want to welcome everyone with wide open arms. We want to give you the best smile that we can. We want to help you. Something that doesn't change for me is when patients call me and text me, thank you.
Right. You tell me all the time.
I had one patient, as you know, I was at the gym, and she called me and she said, I just want to call you and tell you thank you for saving my son's life. Mm-hmm. And she let me know that, her brother and her uncle committed suicide, and she thought she was going to lose her son because he was so ashamed of his smile. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just, helped you guys out and I did my best. And he came down, he got the Supreme experience, and he was super happy night and day. Sarah, the hockey player, she's like, thank you, guys changed my life. My patient, Jeff Olivetti, he just came down and got his second stage on Ernesto. You guys were great. I'm so happy. Mitch Romer, who's coming down soon for his second stage, he's like, Ernesto, you gave me the best Christmas present ever. I can tell you that I truly appreciate that. So with that being said, kindness and respect is universal. And while you are coming down to Mexico to save some money, respect, kindness, and professionalism goes a very long way. I'm a firm believer, and this is also provided, but it's with Dental Facts, it is 50% us and 50% you. Good oral hygiene will make your smile last that much longer. You have to take care of your smile. You have to use your water pick. You have to do all those things because you came down, you spent your money, you took time off of work, you took time away from your family to get this big thing done. make sure you follow post-op instructions. If you have questions, reach out to us. Reach out to your patient coordinator. They will help you to the best of their ability.
You know, and that's what I wanted this podcast to be about. Like, I want, when our patients see this podcast, I want them to understand so many different things about that. Sometimes it's not, we get patients all the time, and it was one of the things that I would hear all the time is, well, they said they're just as good. Well, why would somebody tell you they're not as good as us? You know, but be smart. Do your research. Actually, please do your research. Because if you do your research, we're going to win each and every time. Do your research. Ask your questions. Wait. Instead of asking me or asking Ernesto or any of our agents, but why are you $1,000 or $2,000 more expensive if it's the same thing? Well, once you're done, Ernesto's going to hit you back up with, well, we have 10 international accreditations. This is what this means. This is what it means having a lab. You should be asking them, why do they only have one accreditation instead of 9? You should be asking them, why aren't they training around the world to offer you the best solution like we are? You should be asking them, why aren't they investing in getting bigger by owning their own lab and being able to know what materials they're using on your mouth?
You're right.
They should be asking them.
Exactly. And, are they doing their part to set the right expectations for you? For example, if a patient needs to adjust their bite and they got some dental issues going on and their teeth are full of cavities and they need root canals, are they going to be candidates for veneers? Probably not. Not at all. So guess what? With crowns, you get functionality and you get aesthetics. And you know what? We are able to correct a bite to a certain point, right? I had another patient that's coming back, and Dr. Elias told them, and you have a really strong underbite. I think it was like a class 3 malocclusion, so you need jaw surgery, because no matter how many crowns I do and what I do, your bite isn't going to be the right unless you get the jaw surgery. And that's just being realistic. Those are proper expectations. I'm not going to wine and dine you with my beautiful eyebrows as much as I'd like to.
There
but reality,
look at the guy from Angry Birds.
I know. and we're going to talk about this in the other podcast, but when we were in Switzerland for the Straumann experience, and Dr. Eric Selvinson was up there, who oversees 150 clinics in Europe, she's like, oh, you guys are the full arch clinic. Like, man, I was like elated that he even knew who we were, this global dental giant. And so that means like, hey, this clinic in Mexico, man, they do amazing top and bottom arches. And so why wouldn't you want to work with a team like that? There's value in that. There's value. We didn't just go to Switzerland and have hot chocolate and cheese,
I would have gone for that.
I did have some of that. But, just everything that happens behind the scenes, the engineering behind an implant, the business aspect. And, one thing that Dr. Eric Selvinson started with was like, hey, you know what? One thing that all of us need to be reminded of is being humble. We consider ourselves these dental gods and this and that because we're great. I'm sure you are. But guess what? At the end of the day, your patient's care and smile come first, not your ego. And we don't walk around we're the best thing next to sliced bread, but we do walk around with a sense of confidence, some pep in our step, because we know what we have to offer. And again, if you're not going to choose us, do your due diligence. Ask the right questions. Ask them for before and afters. When I see Could Shop clinics, there's some top-notch clinics around here, just so you know, folks, that they stray away when you ask them about warranties. This one clinic was like, oh, yeah, well, we can talk about that when you get here. Nope. I'll tell you right now, this is what you get with this is what you get with that, and this is how it works, And I don't have an issue with giving patients pushback. As a matter of fact, I've shown you when you give pushback professionally in the right way, it opens up their eyes like, you know what? Thank you. All right?
Well, because we're not yes, man.
Nope.
I mean, we're not going to take... I understand that you want certain things, but if it can't be done, we're not going to do it. And you can go anywhere else to get it done, but it's going to fail.
Right.
And hopefully it works out. But trainings around the world have proven that it's going to fail. So I bet you it felt amazing being able to be in Switzerland and somebody be like, oh, you guys are Supreme. You guys are the full large clinic. That's all the way in Switzerland. We have Dr. Vanderlim in Brazil tagging us because we had 2 doctors that had, out of everybody, they were the youngest and they were the only people that were from Mexico. And at the end, and I didn't know this at that podcast, but when I kept on talking to him after the podcast, the last surgery that they did, so Luis, and it was Luis and Alonso, they were saying like, hey man, this is like the dental Olympics. Because every day certain doctors would be doing surgery and they were able to watch them on big screen TVs and they had the surgery right there. And everybody was talking, perhaps if there's criticism or whatever, oh, I could do this better, I could do. My doctors came back and said, man, you know how clean we work? Like there was people from all over the world, and when there's infection, you know how we take everything out before we start. Like how clean we work. He goes, we were the youngest and we're the only ones from Mexico. The last day it was our turn. He goes, we were so pumped the day before, like, oh man, it's our turn, it's our turn. And Luis looked at Alonso, like, bro, this is the dental Olympics. And he's like, yeah, man, it is. Dr. Vanderlim's assistant had been sitting with them the whole time, and she was the one that does the prosthesis on Dr. Vanderlim's surgeries. Because not all dentists do the prosthesis part, they just do the surgical part. At our clinic, we're blessed to have our doctors do also the second stage, because then if they plan for something, it's easier for it to make sense. Mm-hmm. They did the surgery, and they did every single thing that was taught, from zygomatics to pterygoids. They even included the palatal approach, the sinus conch that they have here, surgery, which is the Vanderlim, patented. They did transnasal floor lift. They did, they pretty much did everything there was. And Dr. Vanderlim, when he's seen everything and he was having surgery with him, he told his photographer, come, take a picture. He's like, because this looks so good, because they had everything that he teaches in one mouth. And he said, I want to put this on a book. Dr. Alonso's like, bro, I felt like crying, he said. He goes, that was one of the happiest times of my life. And I was like, damn, bro, you're a dental nerd. But it's that type of love that we bring to you guys. You know, we're talking about world recognition from world recognized doctors. So when someone tells you down the street, my friend, come over here, my friend, I give you this for free, and you go, I mean, you know what you're going for. The results are probably not going to be the same. When you pop up that picture from Google, from someone's smile, it's probably not going to look like that. Or it might look like that for only a certain period of time before things start falling apart. And then you're going to give us a call. And then we're going to get a call from someone that said that went to another clinic because they had the receptionist was prettier. They haven't seen Manny with the wig. You know what I'm saying? When he puts that blonde wig on, let me tell you, boy. But I'm telling you, like, guys, do your research. Like I said, if you guys don't pick us, it's because you guys are going to another place in Mexico and probably has a nicer scenery. But if you guys are looking for dental, there's literally, I could tell you right now, I have not found a better choice that has everything that we have. I have not, there's great dentists everywhere, but dentists that have a lab, that have all these kinds of, nobody has the accreditations that we have, but that has everything in their hands, that's young, they're hungry. They have these agents that don't lie to you. We literally tell you your warranties. We literally tell you the step-by-step how it's going to work out. We tell you the things that you might need and you don't need, just so you know. Because there's no surprise. Here's this. For the reason that we like to be transparent. I wouldn't like a surprise when I'm going into surgery.
No, absolutely. And, I'd like to add this. Are there agencies that you can look for, right, to turn to for certain things? Absolutely. But I can tell you that most of those agencies don't have your best interest in mind. They're going to throw you to any clinic that they are going to get paid on, right? And it's like throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks, The number one question I get is like, wow, your English is so good. Or the statement, I should say, where are you? And you know what? I am a mobile agent, but I only work for Supreme. I am a Supreme employee through and through. And just because we may not be in the clinic all the time, I can assure you that is not going to impact your experience with us. So just keep that in mind when you call any one of us. And then, again, just be mindful of the agencies that you even think about reaching out to, because as you know, we had to depart from one. And I am so happy.
Yeah.
I am so happy because, as you know, I love helping people out, and I really do. And the amount of miscommunication, non-education, some of these patients didn't even know when their appointment was. So they didn't even know how to get to us. They would come in with just unrealistic expectations, which is not fair to them. And, that's not who you want to work with. And if we were as bad as some of these agencies said that we were or whatever, in this day of digital, social media,
It'd be all over.
It'd be all over.
Yeah, our departures from that dental so-called agency that we were number one for such a long time, and then all of a sudden, it didn't make any sense.
But why?
But why? And the defamation and whatever. It's a medical business, and we don't want we don't want the business to take over the medical. And when they just care about business, then it's a red flag.
Absolutely.
It's a red flag when they tell you, well, you can go here, but oh no, you can't pay that. Oh no, well, this one's better. Oh no, well, this one's better. So which one's better? Have you even been there? Where are you? Why do I hear chickens in the background? Bark, bark.
I literally had a phone call with one of our patients who wanted nothing to do with that agency, and he told me he heard a rooster crowing, and he was like, "Are you? Where are you?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm in, I don't know, Thailand or wherever, and I work in my backyard, and we have chickens running around." Now, if you call me, you might hear my son going bananas, which I try to hide in the background a lot, but you're not going to hear chicken. So again, do your due diligence, do your research, and contact the clinics directly. Why not get it from the source? Talk to the clinic. They're going to have patient coordinators. They're going to have everything. I mean, man, I come full, dude, I come ready to rock and roll. I offer Zoom calls. I offer FaceTimes. I have templates that have a ton of education. We have our amazing website. We have our podcast. Shout out to JT. Everything we do, we don't shy away from it. So I'll walk these streets of Los Algodones with my chest out all day long. People can give me dirty looks, whatever the case is. I don't care, man.
You look like a Russian mobster.
Give me some vodka, yes. I love it, man. I am very thankful for this opportunity. I love to help our patients, and I love to educate, and I know we're doing the right thing.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. Obviously, we're going to record another podcast or one or two, who knows. And I know that you're down here to take a look at everything, how everything's going, and just becoming that much better. And that's something that we applaud. And we just had a meeting right now with the doctors about 2 hours ago. It's all about patient comes first, as they do. It's all about service, and it's all about making them smile, getting that back. So you want anything else you want to say? Any shout out you want to give before we leave?
Shout out to my my team, my colleagues, everyone from the front office staff to the doctors, and to JT for the awesome things he does, to both our drivers, Francisco, Mr. Pancho, and Mr. Quinn, and honestly, to you and Aida, to you and Aida, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, because we all are where we are because of you guys. You guys consistently push us. When we have meetings and we bring up ideas, you help us look at it from a different perspective, and you guys are always looking for ways to invest into the business. And, side note, I have been around with you for a very long time, and I've seen it grow. I literally remember when you were writing the receipts yourself on a pad and next door, and you had a name badge on, and to where we are now is just mind-blowing, and I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for how much further we're going to grow, and I'm just very happy to be a part of this.
Thank you. Very happy to have you in the team. JT, he keeps on saying thank you to you. Like, are you going to make him look better, or what's going on? Is there some sort of...
Do you have a filter that'll take off like 50 pounds?
50 bucks. I can get that too. But thank you so much. This has been Supreme Dental Podcast Studio. If you're looking for a clinic that's cheap, this is not where it's gonna be. But if you're looking for your smile, to bring that smile back, this is where it's at. And this has been Supreme Dental Podcast. And keep on smiling. Have a good one.
And if you don't know, now you know, you know, you know.
That's right. East Coast.
And if you don't know, now you know, you know, you know.